Welcome everybody to Ladies Night Live. Hopefully everybody is doing well, and we are going to be playing WROL today. So hopefully everybody's got their thinking caps on. I remember that in school. Put your thinking cap on.
Oh, I thought it was a dunce cap. Oh,
Your thinking cap. Your thinking cap. Put your thinking cap on. So just a quick everybody. So let's just update what's everybody going on. I know Yoda and Grumpy just celebrated a anniversary. And so and also welcome everybody in the chat real quick. So, all right, go ahead.
Who? Where do you want to go?
Oh, you, Yoda, with y'all's hopefully had a good anniversary.
Yeah, another day. So we're this weekend the weather was nice, and so Garen got out in the greenhouse and he got beds cleaned up, and then got seeds in, and then got some beds cleaned up out front, and I went through seeds and did all of that. And then, of course, I hand him the seeds that I wanted to plant, and he hands me back a bunch that he doesn't want to plant. And so I'm like, then why do you ask me to do it? And so, so it's one of those things. So same old shenanigans here. And yeah, that's kind of what we did. So, it's getting that time of year where your time is consumed in seeds and all kinds of stuff. And I had Miss Starla on the phone most of the week last week, trying to go through what we're going to do as far as what seeds we wanted and that kind of thing, what we were looking for and all of that. She put an all call out to the community. Looks like we've got some bartering going on there. So he'll be pulling in and trading and doing a lot of that stuff. So, I'm limited on what I can do this year. So I won't be able to do a lot. But I can supervise. So I'll be a supervisor, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure he's gonna like that.
You'll be good at it.
I don't know. I become kind of an odd stand, I'm not gonna lie. It's not the way I like it. And then the way I do it's not the way he likes it. And I don't know. It's just constant clashing. So I pretty much there's not much I can do. So, I'm not going to be able to go out in the garden 30 and do all of that stuff necessarily the way that I used to. And so, just everything hurts and everything's weak. And so it's just one of those things. But we'll see. I'll do a little bit here and there and then kind of figure it out from there. So I basically told him to take control of it. And I relinquished control, but he's not allowing me to relinquish control. He keeps wanting me to be part of it. So,
well, also it's probably a thing of he's so used to you being in control on things.
Actually, what's really funny? When we first started, he was always in control of things. He took control of that garden and did all of that, and I just reaped the rewards. And then when I don't remember what happened. When we got into the other property, the last homestead, when we were doing that, somehow it just kind of switched in there. It started, we were doing things together. And then all of a sudden I just took over, and, he was like, you're doing it wrong. And I was like, leave me alone. And so, but yeah, our garden was cool back there. Here, man, our soil's much different, but we'll get it there. So how about you, Terminator?
Well, I didn't do a whole lot this weekend. It's my husband and my son we were running out of wood, so they went and cut some trees down and brought some more wood in, but to keep us going. But I think I just basically I sat down and I started going all over some of my seeds, but I've been going over my plan in my book that I draw out a plan of my garden areas and stuff. I'm getting anxious. I'm getting mad because the winter's still dragging on, and I'm wanting to get into my garden, and I can't because there's like 4 feet of snow out there now. And it gets frustrating. I can start a few plants inside here, but it's still, for me, the way my seasons grow, like the way my season starts off, it's too soon. Unless I figured about the middle of February, end of February, I'll start flowers. Some of the flowers I want to plant, and maybe my peppers a little early this year, and my onions, but that's about it. That's all I can start here.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go full on brassicas. I'm going to try brassicas 2 times this year. I'm going to try it early spring and then see if I can avoid the bugs, and then go fall, middle fall, kind of see what happens. See if I can get those cooler.
That'd be a good idea.
For me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw that somebody else was talking about that, so I totally stole that idea. So don't give me credit for that. Some kind of genius or something, because I was like,
see, the only problem I have with brassicas here is snails.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Slugs. Yeah, that's all I have problems with brassicas is the slugs.
We've got moths and all kinds of garbage around here. I mean, it's bad. Well, because the farmers, everybody sprays around, and so they got nowhere else to go except for the organic gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't.
Well, see, a lot of our that's weird though, because of a lot of our farmers up here, and I know quite a few farmers around, they don't spray their fields or their whatever, and they don't put big huge crops like down south, like 3-4 hours from here. They have all the big fields of corn and soy and all that crap. But up here in our area, they do hay, and I've never seen them do straw up this way, or wheat, anything like that, and big fields and fields of corn. They don't. It's just regular everyday type of farming, and not the commercial farming up here. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
No, we have everything up here, and so it's one of those things. But we're also, as far as the spraying and all that stuff goes, the United States is one of the most poisoned countries in the world, and we allow too much garbage. But that's a fixing to change, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I know for me, I can't wait to start the garden again. I know I had a little bit going, but like I want to go full on out again, because last year it was just crazy. The whole year was crazy. So
here's something to think about, Ashley. You just go ahead and go in as much as you possibly can. And G and I were having this conversation. And here's what you got to think about, with tariffs and everything else. And even even before the tariffs, with everything that was going on, they've destroyed so much of our infrastructure here in the United States that prices are outrageous. And now they're bringing a lot of that fruit and vegetables and stuff up from Mexico and all of that. And so those are going to have added expenses on them. And so overdo that garden. You can always can it up. You're not going to lose it. So, just can up as much as you possibly can. And even if you can share and trade with whatever extra is in there with other people in the community, that's the way to do it. That's kind of our thing to share anyway. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also, All American's dad, he was always my go-to on any gardening questions. And since he passed now, because he would actually him and Mom would sit out in the yard and we would all garden together, especially starting it up.
Uh-huh.
And so it would be the first time without them now. So, but also I'm wanting to go all out. I want everything, and even be like, a little bit of remembering on things that she's planted that we would plant together. So it's gonna be I don't want to say emotional, because also I think about the good times that we planted things together and did the gardens together. So I always think of that, the good things.
Sure. Hey, Tamer, it's good to see you in the chat. Glad you're in here. So wish you were on the panel, but we understand. So
yeah.
But,
and so Shannon, I see that you put in the chat that you're wanting to start up an herb garden.
Yeah, I did one last year, and it's like whatever doesn't regrow, I usually replant.
What type of herbs do you like in yours?
Well, I do chives. Oh, I basically whatever the greenhouse has, I'll get like 1 or 2 of them, and then I'll just plant them in my little herb garden area, and then I'll just start picking them after a couple of weeks because I want more growth than what they've got. So it's like I'll start doing that, and then I'll start doing my tinctures after drying them out and getting those ready because my husband likes the
mint,
yeah,
chives,
mint chives,
lavender,
thyme, because he's does the thyme
is very important.
Tincture for him.
It's anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, it's anti-inflammatory for him because he's got a lot of issues.
Fibromyalgia.
The fibromyalgia.
Comfrey. You need comfrey. You need to grow some comfrey, and then be making the comfrey snack. And so find you some comfrey root. I know Perma Pasture Farms sells it online if they have any in. We don't have it to split this year, or else I would offer. It's going to be a while. But make the comfrey sap. And what I do is I just pick it all and I let it dry. And then like I'm totally going to give it away, but it's fine. I'd love people to do it. And I do sell it. I use sheep tallow in mine, which is a topical for skin irritation, that kind of thing. It's another additive medicine is what it is. And Tambra, you'll be able to grow lavender up here, girl. Come on. And then after it's dry, take a whole bunch and then shove it in half-gallon jars. And then I fill it, I melt down the tallow and that kind of thing. Fill it with all the tallow, throw it in roasters, and you let it soup. I let it siphon for 2 to 6 weeks. Just kind of depends on when I get to it, but no less than 2 weeks. And then after I'm done with that, I filter everything through, add the beeswax, the lavender, and all of that. And then once I do that, then I fill my canisters, and I slap a label on them and out they go. But Starla's in here. That her father-in-law, I can't remember, it's her father or father-in-law, uses it religiously for his neuropathy. They order mine and then send it out. So really, really good. Really, really good. That'll help his fibromyalgia, at least when he's got those flare-ups and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would keep that on the list as something to try to do. And here's the great part about it. Comfrey loves miserable, terrible soil, and it will fix that soil. Yeah. If you put it in good soil, you're screwed. And whatever you do not use a fertilizer on it at all. So just find the yuckiest piece and plant it.
Cool.
I need to get some of those mullein seeds.
We need to get Milan tea because it's good for asthma.
Yeah.
Milan tea is good for asthma too.
Mullein. And so the mullein also, if you smoke it and that kind of thing, yeah, there's a lot of people. Mullein grows wild up here. And so I've got boxes and boxes of dried leaves, and it's during the winter, everybody knows I've got it. And they'll call me and they're like, do you have any left? I'm like, what's going on? And I can't get rid of this cough. And, I've got this going on and that going on. Come on, get over here. And I usually send them out with a gallon baggie full. It's enough tea for years, actually.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Starla said father-in-law.
Father-in-law, yeah. Yeah.
So, and just a couple of quick people popped in. Good evening, Moose Man. Whoops, I scrolled up too much. Jason, nice to see y'all in here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm sitting on my nice toasty spot.
And Tambra, just know when you do that, she's putting it in the avocado oil. A lot of people will use olive oil. Haven't heard the avocado oil. I find that interesting. I like that. But the avocado oil is basically the same base as the olive oil. And so just anybody that's watching in here, if you go, oh, that sounds great, and you go and make it, whatever you do not put the tin in your pocket and walk around. It will melt on you. Behind
You'll have a nice spot on your pocket.
and you will not be able to wear those again except for his work pants.
Just like when I put an egg in my pocket and come doing stuff down at the barn and I forget that I got that one single egg in there and I hit up against something and squash right in my pocket.
It was supposed to get rancid, Tamara. Mine does not go rancid. I make it by the bundles because we sell it. And I've got some sitting in my bathroom that are 2 years old. They're not rancid. So olive oil, most of them with olive oil, they're not rancid either.
Son of Hacks, did you give Nikki the Valentine yet? Vanilla.
Vanilla? No.
I don't know why I said Valentine.
I still have it. Like, I'm totally using it. I'll just buy her another bottle. It's not a big deal.
One of the ladies I get a lot of my eggs from, me and my boss, we were actually looking on Temu, and there was this egg apron. We almost wanted to get that for her, but I actually mentioned it to her, and she's like, yeah, that's not a good idea. One of my dogs, they always want to jump up on me. And so, yeah, that would be bad having that apron full of eggs on it. And here comes your dog and jump up on you and want to all those eggs all over you.
Scrambled eggs. Yep. Automatic scrambled eggs.
Yep.
Yeah, we call that the baptism of farming. You always know you're a good rancher when inevitably you forget that the eggs are in your jacket pocket and somehow you end up with a pocket full of scrambled eggs. Yeah. Yeah. Tamara, come on. We'll make salve up here. Not a big deal. That comfrey will be in no time. So yeah, I'm excited. And then Fancy Pants, she did her annual let's dig up the comfrey and make sure everything splits. And like I'm sure she does it on purpose for selfish reasons, but yet I can't get mad at her because she helps it spread. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Karen's yelling at her, get out of the garden. And I'm like, I don't care. Nothing's growing right now. It's when everything's growing is when I care. With the whole hoodie full of eggs. Dang.
Yes.
Oh no. Yeah, no, that's funny.
I got one of my new chicks that I hatched last year. She just started laying.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's not even she won't be a year old till May, but she's already started laying. So I like I'm glad that and she laid a full size egg, not a little tiny wee. Sometimes some chickens will lay this little wee tiny thing like a starter, but not her. She laid a full size egg.
Yeah, I usually get those little ones when they're about 4 months old. And then once they grow out of that, then they get bigger. My turkeys have decided that mating season has started. And so I felt so bad for Turk today. And so I'm going to have to go in. I'm going to have to, I should have done it sooner, but with everything going on in the neck and stuff, I have to be careful. And it's so muddy out here. And, like I said, one fall, one slip. I just have to be really, really careful. And so I haven't gone out there, but hopefully it'll get dry enough. It's supposed to rain, I think they said on Wednesday. So hopefully it'll be a little bit drier if I get my boots on and just go safe. I think tomorrow I'm going to do just a little trolling around the area that they hang out in and see if they've started laying eggs again. I haven't seen anything from the ducks yet, but the ducks are also looking very happy with each other to keep it alive.
Getting lively. Bring it sprung for you guys.
Ducks are nicer than turkeys, man. Turkeys are that is just brutal. That's brutal.
You know what's so funny is I'll tell you a story about ducks. When my kids were little and we were renting this farm, and I had the Muscovy ducks, and there was a creek that flowed down in the front part of the house where I had a big, huge lawn, beautiful lawn with big lilac bushes and everything. And the kids come running up and they're yelling and screaming at me. I come out of the house and I said, "What's the matter with you guys?" What's going on? Who's hurt? No, it's Mama Duck. Papa Duck's killing Mama Duck. She's gonna drown. She's gonna drown. And you know how the male ducks grab at the back of the head and they pushed her. Well, he had her in the creek, doing it in the creek. Well, my kids thought he was killing her. I had to go and break him up so my kids wouldn't get so upset.
Well, and then there's a sight to see when you break them up, or at least when they're done anyway. So
I know.
And like that cracks me up every time. And it's like a train wreck. You can't help but not stare. You know?
It reminds me of those noodles. Those spiral noodles.
If you all out there, just so I'm embarrassed already. If you all don't know, just so that I don't have to embarrass myself, go look up duck breeding. And there should be some pictures. Like farm life is like, we call it farm port around here. It just is it's really sad when you have company over and they're like, oh my gosh. You're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. They're animals. If you're uncomfortable, let's go
It's normal.
Nice tea. You know?
Normal way of life.
Yeah.
Nature at its best, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
God.
What Get Her Done said. I'm pulling it up so the others can read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Who's got that?
Yeah.
Some of the god awful noises that come with it too. It's just like, what in the world? Oh,
Very funny, Dad. Very funny. He says
Very
it's 80
educational
degrees
for
out in
me.
Arizona.
It's 38 here.
It's 38 here, Dad. So
What's the temperature out there, Leonard?
What state is your dad from?
Arizona, hon.
Oh, Arizona. Oh, okay. Yeah, here in Florida, we were a nice 80 today too.
we were in the 60s yesterday, and then it was nice here today, but there's a front coming in, so the wind's blowing out of the north, and ooh, they're cold up there because that wind is brutal. It's nice if you can hide behind something, but once you're in the wind, it's like brr.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got almost 40 here today. That was nice and warm.
Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy it. You got it for about 2 days, and then it's gone. So if you guys are getting what we're getting, and so like I said, the rain's coming in, but I like hearing rain much more than I do snow and ice. And that is not abnormal in here. So yeah. Oh, I want to ask you ladies before we start going into these cards, because I thought this was really interesting. Have you guys caught up with what's going on with ICE and Tom Holman's interview and all of that here lately?
No.
So Trump's just had enough. He's fed up with it, and he's letting everybody know that he's done. So Chicago, there were 2 males. Seeing the pictures was absolutely shocking. One of them actually had an ICE, the little cuffs that they put on the bottom, the trackers. And so usually for house arrest and that kind of thing, it was a tracker for ICE. So ICE actually knew he was a criminal. And so that was on there. One was from Nicaragua, the other one from Venezuela. They hooked up together. Found a guy taking advantage of people. They are taking advantage of people. So what they do is they pick that one group that wouldn't necessarily report something. And they picked a guy off a dating site, 63-year-old man, and took duct tape in and all this other stuff. Did some horrific, nasty things to this man. And then duct taped him and all of that. They ended up killing him. And ICE had actually called. He was the one guy was in detainment The day before that, ICE requested that he be detained because they were coming for him. They knew that they needed to pick him up, but because they're a sanctuary state or sanctuary city, they refused to do that, and it was denied, and they said no. And then he hooked up with the other guy who again had the tracker on his leg, and they killed this man. And so, and robbed, and it was horrible. And had at least one of them been detained like ICE asked them to, it would have never happened. So now they have them both in custody and that kind of thing. And Trump's basically saying he's done with it. And he's saying these are the consequences. So when everybody starts complaining about federal funding and that kind of thing not coming in, and funds, not being able to go out and doing all of that, Trump is saying, if you're going to do this crap, like Los Angeles and, California and all of these places, if you're going to do that, you're losing your federal funding. We're not going to support it. We're not having it in our country. So, y'all do your research on that before you get mad that there's not going to be any federal funding. Fire department doesn't really see that anyway. And so, a lot of them don't. And so they were talking about misappropriated funds. And it was the congressman out of Florida was talking. Dan Bongino was interviewing him today. And I was listening to him. He got invited to speak someplace. And some kind of peace meeting or something. He had never heard of it. I had never heard of it. I thought he was being set up for something. And he went in there and he started talking about misappropriation of funds. They're talking about State Department. And I don't know if you saw that interview either, the Congressman Mass. And his interview that they did, he threw the press completely off. It was so hilarious that Dan was like texting him and going, you got to come on the air. You got to come on the air. And so he came on the air and Dan did an interview with him. Basically what happened is this gal from the press, she asked a question and she says, well, you're going in there and you're saying that you're going to, all of these people need to be fired. They need to be dismissed and you're going to start all over and rebuild. And a lot of them don't need their jobs. Can you give us an example of DEI and an example of why these people should be dismissed? Because this is over DEI. And he says that he goes, yeah, how many examples do you want? And he starts reading off a whole list. And he's like, let's talk about the $300 million that went over to Iran to teach tolerance for LGBTQ. Let's go ahead and let's talk about $46 million that went to some country in South America for a comic book so that they could teach accepting whatever the alphabet is. And, and then he just starts going on and on and on and on and on. And he's like, is that enough examples for you? And she literally changed the question and pretended like she never asked the first question. So it was like the left is just completely not paying attention to what is really going on underneath all of this. And it's just absolutely insane. And so I say good on them. I can't wait until they get this government under control and get the spending stopped. Can you imagine that? At the same time, $45 million over for a freaking comic book. North Carolina flooded out and they're refusing to do anything for them $750.
Jeez.
Friends at the back.
Not if you were a Trump supporter. And so, I'm just telling you, this is just, it's all insane. So yeah, but he said things were going to be unfolded and things were going to come out and lie. Trump said that before he ever ran. And sure enough, everything's coming out and lie. And I'm telling you, I'm in agreement with some of these congressmen and senators that are standing up and fighting all of this. And the people that are in the administration and saying this is not right. I'm completely in agreement with them. People need to be put in prison. This is treason. This is awful. And what they've done to our American country is just absolutely intolerable. So, all right. So now I laid that out. There's Yoda's truth for the day. So this is what happens when I'm on the road. Tomorrow's going to be even worse. So watch the live. Who knows what kind of news I'm going to have after that, because I have to drive far for my appointment tomorrow. But yeah. Oh no, the condoms. Yeah, condoms didn't just go to. It did not go to Gaza. So Skates obviously heard this interview that cracks me up. $100 million went to oh shoot, can't remember it, the Taliban. But it went to the Taliban. I can't remember what country they were. She might be right. It might have been Gaza. $100 million for condoms. Can you explain that one to me? Because the Taliban beats women and hates them and kills them in the middle of the road. Like it's a public thing. Everybody knows they don't like women. So, and how many people need that many condoms? This is why the population is shrinking. Stupidity is getting bigger and the population is shrinking.
But also, do certain those people even need to be breeding anyways?
No.
If the stupidity is getting that much, I don't think they need to be breeding.
No, but this is what upsets them and why they're poisoning our food, because they don't want us smart people breeding.
I know. It's like dealing with animals all the time. You actually start thinking about the same thing with on the people, on the right breeding. That's not a good one to be breeding. That needs to be taken.
We do it all the time, and like we're constantly we see a flaw in this bloodline, call them, and we call them out. Now they don't go to waste, but we call them and they go to freezer camp, right? Or if somebody else needs something, like gee, open up for the church, you know, hey, if you have a family in need that needs meat and that kind of thing, here's what we have. They're welcome to it. We can butcher it out for them, or we can get it to a butcher for them, however they want to do it. And but yeah.
And then you start thinking that on people.
Have you ever see? You're in the South, so I know you know. But you know, like when you're walking around in the South, and then you get somewhere and you hear somebody going off, and then you turn around and you look at them, and you just can't help. Again, it's like a train wreck. You can't help but stare, and you think to yourself, "Oh my God, how did you ever allow those people to connect and breed? What happened here?" And you know, you're just thinking in your head, and then you're trying to figure out, because all you hear is the banjos in the background. You're just trying to figure out how to get out there as fast as you can, because you know that it's inbreeding for years and years and years. What just happened?
And then you're hoping that they didn't breed as well.
Oh my, yeah. No, craziness. All right, let's ready to start this game.
Yes.
See, and then Skeens comes up with more. Skeens, save it, girl. I saw you texted, and I saw you called. I've been, so that's why I was late on here too. I've been playing solitary. It's been keeping my mind occupied. And like I can win cash and then cash out and all that. And I love solitary. And you can do like tournaments and that kind of thing. So when Skanes called, I was in the middle of a tournament and I was trying to finish it, Ashley, before I got it. Karen's like, they're on. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm busy. Leave me alone. All right. We're at World War III scenario 20. During World War III, you and someone close to you were forced by your country's military to help guard prisoners of all kinds in the island prison of Alcatraz in San Francisco, California. And this card does not apply to me because I would never go to San Francisco on purpose. You'd have to kidnap me to take me there. Some of these prisoners were medically experimented on, which is a violation of several global human rights laws. Now that the war is over and your side lost, you and your friends are on trial facing long prison sentences for your roles during the war. What would you say to convince a jury that you were forced against your will into committing these war crimes and thus you shouldn't be imprisoned or punished? This reminds me of something I watched last night. I'm going to say mine for last.
You
Oh
always say
gosh, I don't even know what to say for that
Yeah,
one.
but if I tell you about the show that I watched, because it outlines some of this, if I tell you about it, I think that would persuade your answers. I really want to say it, so I'm telling myself not to say it.
All right, Shannon. What do you think? What you would?
Oh, I don't really know because it's like I'm not a big California fan. I've been there once and that's all it'll ever be. But I would probably have to go through with it, I guess.
Well, no, that's not the question. You're on trial. Like you, what's done is done. Deed is done. Now you're on trial. So how
What
do you
would you say?
how do you convince a jury of your peers that you're not guilty, you're forced, and I don't deserve to be put to death or be put in prison?
I don't really know.
That's a good question.
Like my husband said, that is a definitely good question.
Mhm.
And it's like
That's a tough one.
that is a tough one to answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's acceptable. So during this game, there's no right answer, no wrong answer, or anything like that. It's just to get everybody talking. So I'll accept that.
I would. I don't know. I would probably want to be. I don't know. Try that. Come to think of some sort of an excuse of why I did it. They put a gun to my head. I don't know. I don't know. That is a thing.
Is it a morality thing? So, I hear you torn. So is it an issue between morality or value?
Probably morality. Yeah.
Okay.
Terminator, what do you think?
You know what? I would do everything in my power to expose the authorities and what they forced us to do. But you know what? It don't matter in the long run. In the end, it don't matter because you know what? They're going to nail you anyways. They're going to. They're not going. A jury's not going to listen. They don't listen to their real deep details or anything nowadays. They automatically, as soon as they hear the first thing, it goes in their mind and they stick with that. Believe me, I've been there, done that. Yeah. I have no faith in people on a jury. No faith whatsoever. They take an oath. They're gotta follow this and this and that. And yeah, no, I'm doomed no matter what.
Yeah.
And I'll take the punishment.
Terminator, I'm going to pull this up for you to read. Tambra said that she's going to come up to you, even if she has to ride her horse across the border.
I'll even lasso you and pull you across.
Oh,
And Starlight, you have a good evening. Hopefully you sleep well.
yeah, my girl. Okay, you ready for this one?
Yes, I am ready.
Oh.
I'm ready to see hear what movie.
It wasn't a movie. It is a new television series that comes on Sunday nights, 7 Central Time. So I can't remember when we were on the East Coast. I think you guys were an hour earlier for primetime TV. So I think you're 6 there, right? Or something like that. Yeah. So it would be 6 o'clock your time. It's called The Hunting Party. Has anybody seen it? Did anybody watch the premiere last night?
No.
Threw me for a loop. I'm watching this and I'm like talking serial killers and that kind of thing. And that's like right up my alley. Like I'm a real sick bitch. I'm telling you.
I like watching that stuff too.
Yeah. So you'll love it. Because I was literally, I'm talking in the middle of it. And at the end, like they leave you hanging. And I'm like, what? And Garen was already in bed. So I couldn't even talk to him about it. So they're talking about serial killers. So bottom line, okay. I'm sorry for anybody who hasn't watched it. Fast forward through this if you think you want to go back and look at it and that kind of thing. So I don't spoil it.
That's all right. I don't watch mainstream TV.
Okay. So
I don't either. I don't have TV.
So they stream it. You can get on the computer and you can watch it, whatever. Anyway, so Ashley, like you'll totally be into this, and it applies this question.
Okay.
So the gal used to be one of the main characters. She used to be like a huge investigator, worked with the FBI and all of that. She was in charge of taking down a lot. They were dealing with a really bad serial killer and almost lost a 13-year-old girl. There were some things, it's revealed, some things that were done that she disagreed with. She didn't like it. So she ends up adopting the girl because the girl had nobody. And so she ends up adopting the girl, getting the girl to college. So you see that in the first episode. And then she left and went to go run a casino. So she was, I think if I caught it right, like looked like maybe head of security and that kind of thing. So like if you're counting cards and doing that kind of stuff, that's what she was in charge of, doing that. And but she was a really great educated profiler as well. Well, the partner that she was with who did the real nasty crime to the serial killer, and I'm not going to tell you because if you want to watch it, I want you to go back and watch it, and then you'll be like, what? That's the way I was. And then so he is the one, he got hurt on the job, and he's the one all these years later, which if I counted it right, seems like it's about 5-6 years later. He is the one that has recommended her to a secret bureau within. She was handed an FBI badge. Her badge was handed back to her, her official badge. So all of that was handed back to her when they confiscated her and escorted her from the casino. Like there was no choice in this until after she met with the director. And then she sits down with the director, but she's taken up to an Air Force base and they're sitting there talking. And so anyway, she decides to do it. So here's what ends up coming out. What ends up coming out is that this is like a super, I'm not even going to tell you the baseline of the story and that kind of thing, what goes on in there, because that way at least you guys have something to watch if you choose to watch it. Talking to everybody out here on watching this video and that kind of thing as well as the panel. But it was one of those things. Basically what it comes to is that there was so we all know you have things like the CIA, you have things that are undercover and that kind of thing that nobody knows about, that takes place out in this world, that none of us know about because they have this idea that the general public cannot obtain the information or know what's going on about it because we can't handle the truth. Right? This is something we've known about for years and years and years. And so this is like a secret team within a team, and that's all they do is hunt these serial killers. So apparently there's been a program that's going on that they would take these serial killers, they were able to profile them before they did too much damage. So they knew that they were psychopaths and they knew that they had XYZ and this and that. And they would actually, quote unquote, treat them and then run tests on them and do all of that. Like it's just coming out, so I don't really have a lot of details on it. But so they would treat them, and then they're trying to see are these serial killers, can they really be turned around and be citizens of the United States and operate normally and that kind of thing. And so they had one specific prison, and it was just for these high dangerous serial killers. And somebody, and it doesn't reveal to you who it is, so I'm sure this is going to be something later and later that they get into, but somebody had that prison blown up, and the worst of the worst serial killers in multitudes escaped and no longer could be treated or done anything for these. And so now this agent has had to decide, and it was actually one of the serial killers that asked her about it, which I thought was really interesting. And she asked her the same question I just asked you, Ashley. Is it a moral issue or is it a value issue? What bothers you the most? And so that being said, it's one of those things. I think I would go to the jury specifically and I would lay it out on the line, and I'd probably do a lot like what Mass did in his interview. And I would say, look, Here's the difference when you're fighting, and this comes up too, when you're fighting in other countries and you see the mass destruction, the murders, the torture, and everything else, it's in other people's countries. As an agent, when you see it here on your soil and you see what's going, this is what he said. This is what an agent said, and this is how he landed it with her and made her decide moral value and all of that. When you see it here on your soil at home, where you're supposed to be safe, you're supposed to be allowed to walk around the streets, isn't it our duty to make sure if we can protect our children that we do? That would be my argument with the jury. That would be my argument with the jury. I don't necessarily, because it didn't really say until the end that you were forced to do it. She's not being forced either. She had to make a decision as to what she was going to do, and she's sticking with it. So I think this is going to be an excellent series as long as they don't get too crazy with it. But again, I like that kind of stuff. I like getting inside people's heads and just trying to figure it out. It works well for me, and works well enough for me that I can see a red flag right off the bat, right? So I don't have to deal with a lot of BS in between. I can pretty much nip that in the bud within a few weeks.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but man, it was good. Ashley, you're gonna have to look it up. And I do believe they are streaming it.
I did look it up as you was talking, and I found Peacock has it for free.
Okay.
Because I stream, I do everything on my laptop. My laptop is my TV. And so yeah, Peacock has it for free. And I looked it up, and it even has a trailer on there. I'll probably watch that later afterwards. And
yeah, that'll be good too, because then we can kind of talk about what's going on and all of that. I have a feeling this is more of a conservative show just by the way things were going. So I have a feeling it's probably going to follow some of the trends that are happening now as we're going the next 4 years. So I'll be real interested to see, because remember, sometimes TV has a reality behind it for what's actually going on. And somebody usually has an inside somewhere, and that's how they base this entire thing. So I'm interested in that, man. I tell you, I'm excited about that one. But so that's kind of where that went. And I think that would be my argument there. Now, right or wrong, everybody's got their own opinion, but I totally understand that position. And you do have to figure it out that sometimes you're going to do things you don't want to do, and people don't agree with. And like we've discussed before, even God said there's an eye for an eye.
yeah.
So there it be. All right, next card, emergency preparedness basics. And let's go scenario 3. Are you familiar with the specific types of natural disasters or emergencies that are most likely to occur in your area? And have you taken the necessary steps to mitigate risk and damage to your property and belongings? Man, you guys are off quiet on that one.
Well, I'm thinking on that one because, I mean, on emergency preparedness, I mean, with here in preparing your property and everything, I mean, us having hurricanes, you got to prepare your property for the high winds and all that kind of thing.
Sure.
If you go that type of emergency preparedness,
it says all disasters.
Yeah, so that one I'm so used to. Every year we have them. And so I know here we have also a lot of yard ornaments that Mom loved. And so got to take them down so they don't become targets and break someone's window open. And then making sure your plants, I know my guava tree, it actually got split, and it's still good. Still growing, but it's laying on its side almost now. And but it's still going strong and all that, so it's like, okay. I kind of almost like to do it if it was out in nature. I mean, nature ain't gonna put it right back up. It's still producing strong. Well, it was. It's done producing right now, but so that's what I would do on my thing. And I do it every year. So, Terminator.
Was that natural disasters? Was that natural disasters or any type of disasters?
I think it's probably
All
any type of
disasters.
disaster. Yeah, hang on, I'll read it
Well,
again. You want me to read it again, or how do you? I
no,
don't care
no.
how you
I'll
wanna
just.
twist it.
I'm just the biggest. I've been through a major disaster when we lost our home.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does say natural disasters or emergencies that are most likely to occur in your area.
Yeah, see, natural disasters. Was that natural?
And
They couldn't figure out what caused it.
And emergencies. That's an emergency.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, because if it wasn't for us allowing our daughter to build this 10 by 10 cabin, we'd have no place. We would have had no place to live. We had no
Sure.
place to stay. So we, I had all my preserves. I had all my seeds. I lost all that, and I had to restart all over again. But you know what? You bounce back no matter what kind of an emergency or any type of disaster you go through. You just, you know what? I didn't let it overtake me, or I didn't grieve a lot. I was frustrated, pissed off and everything a lot. But what I did was we just had to regroup and start all over again and take day by day. That's what we had to do. And when we had the fire, we didn't have any insurance. So, we couldn't just automatically rebuild. So we had to start right from ground zero, right from scratch. We had the land. So, but if it wasn't for this cabin, I would have been living in a tent.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm capable of doing. I have no problem with that whatsoever. The community didn't even, the only community that helped was my kids that were, well, my son was here. He's the one that got injured during the fire. But where we stayed 3 nights at my daughter's, and then we came and she helped me get the cabin ready. But she put out there a GoFundMe page, but because of circumstances, they were saying that it was all lies and everything. And so she got a direct call right from Facebook when she put it on Facebook. And you know what? She had to shut it all down and everything. But it was nothing here in the community on the GoFundMe page. It was, my daughter has her own business, and it was Americans that have, where she cleans all the big condos. They own the condos here and everything. Them and the Canadian ones, they she has over, I think, 50 units that she does, and they all contributed. So I was able to buy clothes, and stuff like that. And our the emergency supplies, all my first aid kits, everything, whatever we needed, we got it. But then we had to start from scratch, and I'm still collecting things that I don't have that I had. But you know what? It takes time, and that's not the most important. The most important is that you're alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that you stick together and you work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucy, Jen said that I think we become numb to grieving at some point.
Yep. Especially during an emergency like that.
The only thing that scared me after was when I was sitting on the couch on one of the sofas where my daughter and my son-in-law had their wood stove, and he filled up the fire and he perked the fire up. The flames hit me. It really, I had to get out of the room. Other than that, it didn't bother me after that. We just started planning right in my head right away. My husband and I, we started planning, get back to the property, because there was no security here or anything. And they didn't put ribbons up or anything to stay out because it was a crime scene or anything. Yeah. So we just focused on getting back here and starting all over again, which it happens. It's life.
Yeah.
Sometimes
That's why I tell everybody, take one day at a time. You're here today, could be gone tomorrow.
True.
Yeah.
And you got to be flexible too. You have to be flexible.
Yep.
We have the ability to come up with a plan and not want to mitigate from that plan. And sometimes you just can't do it. And there's other plans. So this is why G and I always say, Lucy knows a lot of what we've been through, and so does Little Miss Prepper. And that's why we always say, you know, man, especially in the last 3.5 years, the Lord is hardening for us for something. So we're not sure what's coming, but oh Lord, okay, I'm ready for it. I think at this point I could get through anything. Pretty sure.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But yeah.
Shannon, what do you think about your thing on emergency preparedness on that one?
Yeah, I would say, like, when I broke my tibia, we had enough food in the house, so we didn't have to go grocery shopping.
And you had financial cushioning.
Yeah, and I had financial cushioning.
Because you were saving everything.
And I was saving a lot of money and other stuff up, like my husband said. Sorry about that, girls.
Oh, you're fine.
It's okay. We both had our husbands do it too.
No. Look, let me get this out there real quick, and then Shannon, you go right ahead. I was supposed to not forget, and this was drilled into my head today. Everybody needs to go over to the community page over on Grumpy Acres Farm. Jen, Northern Girl Hobbies, actually posted it up there. Go to the community page, and you need to vote on your favorite Mama Bear t-shirt design that will be released next month, I think. So
cool.
Mama Bear t-shirt.
Mama Bear t-shirt.
Okay. I will.
Now, if he comes in hollering, you can tell him, yeah, she said it.
You know what that reminds me of? When I used to work at the resort and I used to tell stories in the lunchroom when we used to go cleaning and stuff in the housekeeping department, and we used to sit and they used to get me to tell stories when my husband had this Mama Bear and 3 cubs, so they nicknamed me Mama Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Grizzly Granny it was. They called me Grizzly Granny. Yeah, it was so funny.
So you'll probably like it. And then there was another suggestion. Somebody else went in with the poll and that kind of thing and wrote a comment, and they put something in there. On their comment was actually a different saying word for it. And I was like, I'm not mad at that one either. So I believe we have to do a couple different versions of Mama Bear t-shirts. But so Shannon, I think that's an excellent point. You know, so we have a tendency to think of disasters and emergencies and all of that as something nature brings to us, or something, you know, an accident like the fire. You know, we lost our entire beginning of our business. I was getting into trying to get into commercial breeding with turkeys and chickens and all of that, and our entire coop took all of our chicks and wiped everything out in a fire. Lucy, your fire, that's a great example. You know, you're talking about
Lucy.
And so then even with your tibia, and so that was one of the things too, you know, that we talked about. We'd have been absolutely screwed with our truck accident. We'd have been screwed had we had not prepared the way that we prepared. I don't even think we put a dent in much of anything. I had to go buy rice, but that's because we're starting to do dog food and use some of the stuff for dog food. But I haven't really had to put a much. Oh, look at that. Northern Girl got it. There's the Grumpy Acres vote. Go vote on the community page. It's right there. And so, yeah, but we hadn't had to put much dent in anything. And if it wasn't for what I had already had prepped and ready to go and all of that, man, I'll tell you what, we would not have been screwed, but we would not have been comfortable, if that makes sense. You know, so at least we've been comfortable. And now we're starting to feel the pain because, you know, an accident like that and all these doctor's appointments, medications, and then you need extra things to keep you comfortable and extra things, you know, for XYZ and this therapy and that therapy. And the list goes on and on. Now we're starting to feel the pain. And but again, that's more of the comfort is not there. And so, you know, when we're not trying to figure out how we're going to pay our bills or are we going to lose our house, because of course we're not. But you know, we're not just going, okay, I think I'm going to go shopping today and buy a sweater, or I need a new pair of shoes or whatever. That's not happening. And so that's kind of where we're at. But thank God we were prepared for that. Right. So, yeah, that's my answer on that. So, we need to broaden our minds when we think about emergencies, because one little thing, a job decision, my daughter, for example, she's an analyst, and she's really not liking the project that she's working on, and she's struggling. But her management is trying to keep her in that position because she's one of the best damn analysts that they have. She hates it. She hates the group, and she's not happy. And so her and my son-in-law have had to sit down and decide, can they leave this position? Can she quit her job and look for a new job? And luckily and thankfully, because they prepared the way that they have, and they, thank God, listened to mom and dad and got out of debt and all of that. Is it going to be comfy? No, but they can do it. And she can quit her job. She doesn't have to keep that job and be miserable for her entire life. Everybody's scenario and emergency is different. Remember that we're on different journeys. And so, I try to remember that so I can be as patient as possible. And, just, I think I said it before, my cousin and I, we keep in touch a lot, and I'll text him and say, you're never going to believe this, or he'll text me, how's your week been? And like seriously asking me. And so then I tell him how my week's been. And I'm like, so how was your week? And then he tells me I'm dying. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just crippled and you're dying. And so, you forget, but that's one of the great things. He's not really dying. We do weekly checkups. He's doing great with his chemotherapy and his radiation and all of that. I got to call him and check in. But, he's concerned. He's scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it's just one of those things. Everybody's scenario is different. Don't ever judge. Don't ever think that you're in the worst pain ever, because you're not. There's always somebody worse off.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's important. Because we do tend to forget that stuff. So
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I got another questions about your shirts.
What's that?
On the phone, I can't really see what they say very well.
Oh, what? Did you highlight it? I can't see it.
No, I just have it on my phone, and I'm trying to read your shirts.
Oh, Garen. Well, he just shut me out. So
yeah, he did. I can go later. I can go on the laptop, and maybe I'll see it bigger.
Can you lift it? Like
no, it won't blow up.
No, it doesn't let you. It doesn't let you do that. Because I'm on it too. It doesn't let you do that. Not on the phone.
Well, that's going to be a problem. Just pick the second one. The second one is what I like the best. It looked better. It read better, but I can't remember what
he says you like the first one.
What did he like? Hey, well, in the email that he sent me. Oh, I guess I could look at my email and tell you what they say. I didn't bring my phone over.
Yeah, because
the black shirt and then the gray shirt.
Yeah, the black shirt's the one that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. With the brown bear on it.
Yeah, that's the one I like the best.
Okay.
But yeah, if you just scroll up and that kind of thing, but she just didn't look mean enough to me on the gray one, and it kind of sounded like something a man would say and not what a woman would say, because we really do want to. You mess with our kids, we're going to tear your head off, right? And
that's right.
It's not how the gray T-shirt read to me anyway, but it is a poll. Don't let me persuade you. We'll make this a democracy here. Let's make it fair. Y'all vote the way you want to vote. Because I'll just order my T-shirt. I don't care. This is just about the launch. It isn't about anything else. All right, let's go to New American Civil War, scenario 24. On June 3rd, 2032, you and your group are on the brink of starvation in Albuquerque, New Mexico, due to a civil war. You come across a group of survivors who have hoarded a large amount of food and water. They offer to trade these supplies for your weapons and equipment. Would you give up your means of protection for the chance to survive, or hold on to your weapons and risk death by starvation? Or perhaps hold on to your weapons and attack the other group for their supplies?
So He's sleeping, but I got him in my head. And actually, it's one thing he said today. Anyways, cannibalize him.
Just wrong.
I know. It's like, man, I got him in my head.
You have moral and value issues on what to say to a jury to get off for torturing psychopaths, but yeah, you'll cannibalize everybody. There's something sick is in your head as well. We might need to talk this out. I'm available for therapy. You feel free to talk to me. We can do that. Therapy sessions are flexible whenever you need that. Not first thing in the morning.
I watched too much of that serial killer stuff, I guess.
But that's not psychopath. Like, so that, like what you said, cannibalize, that's not psychopath. The psychopath is somebody who's put into that area. Like, the last guy, his mom just left him in a closet for days and days and days, so he was blinded. So he would kidnap and blind these other women and then take them to another serial killer as an offering. And like, so weird. It just, the whole thing is weird. Like I don't want to go into it. I don't want to spoil it for you. You got to go.
So really, that's what he would say though, is cannibalize them.
What would you say?
I say maybe I will try my group. We can we got the weapons and all the stuff, so we'll attack them and take their food.
It's one thought. Next.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay. So if you trade your weapons for their food, how do you know you get the food? How do you know they're not going to come back and go after you for the food because they've got the weapons and you don't have any weapons to protect yourself? And if you want to, survival. What's that?
I said, sucks you didn't prepare for that scenario.
But I would never give my weapons up because you need them for survival. Because if it come down to it, you can either hunt for your food with the weapons. You can, like little Miss Pepper said, you can attack them and hold them you can kill them if you have to for food. If it comes down to it, do you ever watch the Mad Max shows? I used to watch the Mad Max when I had TV.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
And but I'm just saying, survival. Yeah. You got to go into survival mode. You're not going to give your weapons up because you don't know if you do end up surviving down the road, you're going to need those weapons. You don't know you're going to come up against. I would never give my weapons up.
Do you remember? I'm just going to point this out here, Shane. I'm kind of giving you an advantage here, or do you want me to save it for later? Do you want to just answer and I'll save it for later?
Yeah, I can answer.
Okay, I'll save it. Go ahead.
Oh, just for my survival, I think I would have to give them up because I would rather be alive than dead.
But now you have the food; they can go back on you and kill you for that food.
But what if?
Yeah, I would probably try sharing it. Even if they did have the weapon.
You guys have got Yoda going there. She wants to come in here and talk so bad. She's the one with the advantage. Come on.
But.
Yeah. But.
So that's all I keep hearing. What if? But. What if? That's what I do to my kids. But. And I'm like, if you say but one more time, I know whatever you say after that is a lie. And
yeah.
So,
or I'm going to kick that butt.
So, here's my deal. If you start prepping now, you guys, everybody should be so far ahead of this anyway. You guys ever watch the cowboy films and the cowboy movies and all that? I know Lucy does. And if you haven't, you better start because it's an entire way of life. And, maybe I'm lucky because I grew up this way. And, my grandfather, him and I were very close and he loved those movies. And so, especially spaghetti Westerns. And so we would watch all of those. Name me one time that you've ever seen one of those shows or movies that a cowboy has not killed somebody, fought against somebody, and then confiscated their weapon. You should have so many more weapons and ammunition on you than what you need. You need to know what your sacrificial weapons are. Don't be greedy. Don't be a hoarder. Don't be greedy. Another scenario, I was going to say this. You shouldn't be starving, especially in New Mexico. That's this dumb. I don't even know why they went there. So anybody that's lived on the desert knows there's like food everywhere. Is it inconvenient? But there's but there's totally food everywhere. And the apple cactus is my favorite. Like I'm totally trying to figure out how Jonathan's supposed to be looking for me. He's going to bring me some down from Texas or up from Texas so that I can grow it up here because it will grow here. Apple cactus, man, my mom and I used to knock out jelly and fry that stuff up all the time. So you shouldn't be starving. There shouldn't be a need for you to offer up your weapons. You need to know your surroundings. You need to know where you're at. You need to know how to survive off the land. You need to have already made provisions so that you got enough food and all of that. If you haven't done it, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, because
you talk about what you were buying with the tariffs coming. I don't know. I don't know. Next thing I'm buying is a truck. So, but that's not made up in Canada, nor is it made in Mexico, and it'll be a used vehicle. So there's that. But
what do you need?
But and Tamara's right, and different kinds of weapons. And so, this is what I said. So you get the knives, take the knives. You're taking the bows and arrows. You're taking I
got machetes. You name it, I got everything.
Yeah, the knives and all of that. And you're taking all that with you. You should have that on you, and you have your sacrificial.
Even have the double slingshot.
Look at you now! All of a sudden, you're on board. You're not killing anybody. How about that? And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys should already have this in place, but this is why we do this so that we can talk everything on. My answer is not necessarily the right answer, but my answer would get me and mine through, and we'd be eating high in the hogs. So you got plenty of snakes and all that stuff up in the desert, plenty of stuff. There's no reason why you should be starving. Absolutely not, especially the cactus and all that. Do you guys know? Anybody in the panel know if you're in the desert, how do you find water if there's no water? Did you know the desert is actually full of water?
Yeah.
In certain places,
you can get water from a cactus. You can get fluid from a cactus.
Did you know if you dig underneath that cactus, so you can eat the cactus, right? And then the high nutrients and all of that. But if you get down to that root of the cactus, that's where all your water is. And then also, if you just keep digging, just dig in the sand and then get it out and away, you'll eventually get to a puddle where the water is.
Look at the TV.
So I don't know how many of our people are watching from the high desert. I would hope some of my family members are, but they may not come in until later, watch the replay and that kind of thing. So I'll probably miss. If I do miss you, and you got something to say on the situation, just message me. I'd like to hear what you got to say. And then we can always bring it up later.
And Starla, I want to know if you're talking about that cactus that produces fruit.
The apple cactus, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. The fruit. Oh, the water? Any cactus. The barrel cactus.
No.
Water. I don't know what you're talking about. You got to tell me. You got to answer me or ask me, I guess.
Maybe the cactus Jonathan's bringing you. What type of cactus?
That's an apple cactus. Yeah. The fruit one. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What he's trying to find me anyway. Yeah.
And then did you read Tambra's thing about
they find a tarantula, eat it.
A Dodge with a bad motor?
A what?
Tambra. She's saying if you she has a Dodge with a bad motor and a 7.3 diesel, if you have someone that can swap out engines.
We do. I'll have G talk to Hacks and see what he can find. I'm not sure G's gonna want to drive a Dodge, and for that exact same reason that the engine's not working and sitting in your yard, you're going to get rid of it. We're Chevy people. Fords are found on the road dead. And
Yeah, they got a tomato can. They use a
I
tomato
don't,
can in their. In,
I don't really need to go through all these, but yeah, Chevy has been more faithful to us for years and years and years and years. And we just haven't had as many problems with Chevy as we've had with others. But I'll definitely talk to him though. Oh, 7.3 diesel is a Ford, not a Dodge. I don't know. I don't know. Tamber, I can message you tomorrow and find out, get the details on it, and then send those over to G and Hacks and see what they have to say about it. And Son of Hacks has actually been helping Hacks a lot, so it'll be interesting. They're all talking about road trips, and they're looking anywhere from Texas all the way up to Iowa and across for vehicles for us. We may actually be able to have all of this solved and money to purchase the vehicle by the end of the week. Knock on wood. If we can get people to quit taking days off and actually do what they're supposed to do. But then who knows, by the time the adjuster gets it out and then gets this done, it's probably going to be next week, end of next week, honestly. And then the bank sometimes, we probably won't. They usually don't ever make us, but the bank will sometimes say, oh, you have to let this season. It's got a season in your account before you can spend it and that kind of thing. They've never made us do that before. But with the economy, you don't know how that's changed. So, but we also don't bounce checks or anything like that. So that'll help us. Plus the fact they know a lot of what's going on. But yeah. So I don't know. You guys want another card? It's 816. So 916 for you guys.
Yeah, we can do one more and then we can call it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go government.
yeah.
I gotta find my glasses. Government.
What's so funny?
You just busted out in a laugh.
Huh?
You said government. Lucy did. And then so it made me laugh.
Oh. Government scenario 24. On March 30th, 2028 in Denver, Colorado, a UN mandate against global warming is issued and your government begins to legally force farmers to sell their land. Your family's farm, your only source of income, is at risk. Do you comply or lose your livelihood? And if not, what would you do? I don't think I like that question.
I don't either.
So
I'd fight like hell. I would never give my land up in any way. I'd fight like hell.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give it up anyways. Either.
And I wouldn't either. Fight for it.
Yeah, I think my comment, it'll be a stand here. And I pretty much guarantee that. I mean, I don't even know. I think they might get away with it in the cities of Colorado. I don't think you're going to get away with it in the country, in the farming community. Let's put it that way, because I know Colorado is a lot different. I don't think you'll get away with it out there. I don't think they'll cooperate, and I think they will also stand. You know, we've done a show out there, and we taught. They asked us to come out, and so we did. We spoke a little bit and did a couple things on preparation and all that. You already pissed off a bunch of farmers in Colorado. I don't think they'll comply. I think they stand with every farmer in America, and I don't.
They'll stand united.
I don't think there's one farmer here. Well, I'm going to say in any state, I don't think there's one farmer that's just going to give up their livelihood. If they were, they already did. And, you know, you even had the ones that were hanging on by a thread that went ahead and allowed the solar companies to come in and lease land. Solar companies will never buy land. We've talked about this before. They'll never ever buy land because they don't want to be responsible for cleaning it up and maintaining it. They will also always lease the land. So the
pads in the ground.
Just like me watching. Just like when I watched Little House on the Prairie last night, and they I think it was season 8 or 9, beginning of 9, maybe 8, when the farmers stood up, the people stood up against the railroad.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we're having to do now. We're having it right now. It's not the railroad; it's that damn Rainbow Expressway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having to stand up right now against that. We're not backing down. There's multiple lawsuits right now against our county and state. Everybody's been added in there, and if I had the energy, I'd go file a lawsuit on my behalf as well. But the guys that have filed, they've got it covered. And so they may decide down the road to go ahead and turn it into a class action lawsuit. Just kind of depends on when the litigation and all that stuff comes in. But you have a lot of people, one, don't have a lot of money to put that effort out, two, don't have the transportation, the knowledge, and all that kind of stuff. So we've got that. And three, that takes a lot of time and a lot of leg work. And if you're operating a farm, it's hard to do. And if you live in a farming community, you know, most of us are crotchety and old anyway. I'm barely walking. Like, there's like 50% of us walking through when we're at Walmart. We're walking through, and half of us have our bodies leaning on the cart, hoping we can make it, grab everything we need. But you know, the young kids are so cute and so sweet, and they see you struggling. They know we all want to say no to the help, so they don't even ask anymore when they see me coming. You know, they're just like, "Oh, I didn't get that for you," and they'll grab it real quick and then throw it in the cart and all that. And hey, we'll have somebody load that up for you. So they're real good about it.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, you know, it's small towns, right? Everybody knows everybody. So, you know, you see somebody, it was just like, yeah, we were standing in line. I didn't realize that milk lady and, well, it was her husband was standing behind me, and I saw him, and I said, "Hey, I'm heading to your house." And I didn't even know who the girl young girl, you know, behind the register was. And she said, "Oh, yeah." She goes, "Miss Tracy's milk." She said, "Isn't that the best?" And she have to give details. She knew exactly what I was going to go get, and you know, and made sure that I told Miss Tracy hi. I'll make sure she knows, and I will let her know. And then so, you know, when I tell Milk Lady, you know, what was said and what happened, and she's got a big old smile on her face, she knew exactly who the girl was. So it's kind of funny. Right, just because she was about the same age as Milk Lady's boys, and so I'm sure they were probably all friends in school and that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's how they did. So yeah, it's not going to be easy, guys, but nothing worth doing is ever easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a challenge. So
yeah,
Lord, can I be a witness to that right now?
yeah.
I see the neurosurgeon tomorrow. So after weeks and weeks and weeks of a referral hanging on the line and nobody wanting to do anything, can't go into details as to why that was. But I had one doctor put something out and got a hold of another doctor. And let's see, I had my last procedure on Wednesday. I had a call Thursday that the referral was accepted. And then Friday, we had an appointment set up, so I see them tomorrow. So is it amazing that something
I'll keep you in my prayers.
Yeah, something that they're not going to do anything. It's going to be more of a consultation and all that. Like everybody's totally me going and being checked in the hospital. I'm like, holy crap! Let me figure out what they're going to do to me first. Well, you know, everybody's just seeing everything that's going on, and so they're just like freaked out. They're, you know, but even my when I had my therapy today, they were a little shocked that happened so fast. And so then he was like, "Well, how?" He goes, "How long has that referral been in there?" And so then I told him how long that referral's been in there, and he was like, "What?" And so one of the things in their computer, we have like my chart and that kind of thing. They could actually go in and see how long that referral's been hanging there. And so they go in and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And you can see where the doctor notated as to what was going on Wednesday, and then what messages were sent Thursday, Friday, and then done in that. So really super nice. Mesquite trees too. Well, come on up here. There's a ton of mesquite. I can't identify them young though. I can't tell you that. But we're spilling them in the fireplace. She's got them. They're cut down in here. You know what would be good for you? Son of Hacks. Son of Hacks could walk you through, yeah, and he could probably walk through. I bet you he'd be able to identify every single mesquite tree. We can just get you some cuttings. So, and then you can just grow as many as you want. Well, yeah. That's what I always love. You know, she's
He
like,
was gonna bring you some.
oh, she's going to bring me some?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, bring them. Yeah. So I will smoke with mesquite every day. Every day. I did. That was for our anniversary. I did New Zealand mussels and then some another fish for G. And I was trying to figure out how much energy I had because I was going to do a really fancy dinner and that kind of thing. But he didn't come in. And I'm like, well, if he's not coming in, I'm just going to do something simple. And so I just made a chowder with it. Oh my God. So good. Because I smoked the fish and then put that in there. Oh, the whole chowder, it just had a nice smoky flavor. And oh, it was yummy. Yummy, yummy.
Tamara says you want the wood.
Yeah, I want the wood. I want, yeah, you got more trees. I'll take saplings. I eat all that. Yeah. Because I want the mesquite to keep coming. If you got mesquite shits and that kind of thing, yeah, bring it to me. And then make sure you bring enough for your property too. So she hopefully looks for property up here and finds it. And then you bring a whole bunch, we get them in the ground and you just transplant whatever you need. So, but yeah. Oh, Starla's still up. I thought that girl went to bed.
I know, I did too. I was reading. I was like, wow. She just couldn't leave us.
Well, I don't know what Rose said. I see it. Yes, they will. No, they won't. Blah. It's like children. Cameron, bring them to me. I thought you wanted some, but I misunderstood. I didn't catch the question. Little Miss Prepper did. So I'm retaining it incorrectly, but I'm tired. I had physical therapy today. So
yeah, I was actually going to be like, all right, it's almost 9:30 here.
Yeah, it's time to go, guys. We love you all. And like I say, I'm just gonna go ahead and check out and all of that. Next time I'll try to get in earlier. We visit a little bit. Thursday's gonna be iffy, depending on what ends up happening tomorrow. And then Thursday I also have physical therapy, and they're ramping me up, getting me ready. So I've got to build some upper strength, and so they're ramping it up. So I might be hurting a little bit. The headaches are still continuing, and it just seems like the more I do, the more the headaches are. So I don't know if I'm going to be in on Thursday. So if I may just be in and then out. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. Love all of your prayers, and be at least 1% better tomorrow than you were today. And until next time, hey, everybody, go live a life done free. It's worth it.
Yep.
Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Watch everywhere. You don't know what's happening, and the way it's going right now, I wouldn't even attempt to even travel anywheres right now. Not taking no chances.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, but rather is like, how many of you have started your seedlings for the year? Like, we're growing. I'm going.
Anyway.
And Shannon, when's your live that you're doing soon?
Oh, for like my anointing oil one?
Yeah.
Should be soon.
It should be soon. I'm still trying to figure out the computer part.
Yeah.
Because I'm just used to doing it on the phone, and like I said, it's like I got to figure out some more stuff. So does my husband, because he'll probably be using the laptop more. So, but it'll be an interesting little thing with the hyssop anointing oil that I have from Jerusalem.
Cool. So then everybody keep an eye out for her live as well.
I might do it during Easter week, like Palm Sunday to Easter, because that's my original week that I started my YouTube channel.
Oh, well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and I'm glad that because the person that got me to start my channel was Vision Preparedness.
Yeah.
Because I kind of, when I put up his name in like big letters, he put my channel up, and I'm like, no, I don't have a channel. He's like, start one that you. I'm like, I don't know what to do, and he's like, do something you read. I'm like, do something you like to do. I'm like, well, I like to read, so I'll just read the Bible. So
Right.
there's how I got my channel.
Well, that's cool.
This could just be a religious thing or something like that. I don't know. Y'all feel free to correct me and that kind of thing. The anointing, shouldn't that either be done after before Lent starts, yeah, or after Easter, yeah? Is that just a Catholic thing, or is that?
I'm not sure, but I'm gonna be using like what Psalms were they, hon?
Psalms 91.
Psalms 91 and 100 and something. I'm gonna have to look that up again, but I gotta anoint all my doorways with the oil.
Yeah, so Advent, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. You look it up, you read it your way and interpret it your way. I'm not gonna tell you how to do it. So
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Always
But
cool.
yeah. And may Yahshua bless each and every one of you. May he heal any problems that y'all have, and have a very blessed night.
Yes, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. And hopefully we'll see everybody on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and have a good one. We'll see y'all then.
Night, y'all.
Good night, all. Bye. Love you all.
Bye.